Hey, welcome everybody to another edition of Cooking with Chef Johnyshwa, and we have an incredible recipe for you today. All right, looks like we're a little bit crooked here. Let's see if we can get a little bit more straight for everybody. I think that'll work. All righty. Today we are making a Thai green curry. We are leaving Japan in school. You know, it's been an incredible Asia unit so far. We've done Southern Asia and doing India. We've just coming out of Japan, making ramen. We're playing around with soba. We had so much fun. Next trip we're making is over into Thailand, Southeast Asia, and you know, they're really calling Thailand the hub between China and India, and kind of a stopping point along those trade routes. So it's always a very, very important you know, place on that spice route. Some incredible ingredients, and we're going to make a Thai green curry first, and we're going to make it homemade. You know, I looked into some recipes for Thai red curries and green curries we're going to be using in school. They're very expensive to buy, and you get very little. With this, we really get to control the flavors and where it's really at. So we're going to make the green curry first, and then we're going to make the Thai coconut curry. And we have all the accoutrements. We have the galangal, we have the Thai basil, Serrano Chiles. So let me tell you a little bit about what I have in the bowl here. So in here I have Serrano Chiles. These are about, you know, between 5 and 10,000 on the Scoville unit. A little bit hotter than a jalapeno, but nothing too crazy. Next up, we have the Thai green chili. The Thai green chili can be anywhere from 50,000 to 100,000 Scoville units. And watch, I'll eat one. No, I'm kidding. There's no way I'm eating one of these. These are super hot. All right, so these are going to form the base of our green curry. Now, what else do we have in the bowl in here? Well, we have about 2 tablespoons of salt, a half a teaspoon of white pepper. We have some cumin seeds, about 1 teaspoon. We have some coriander stems. It really called for coriander root, but nowhere could I find coriander root. I looked all over, but they said a good substitute could be coriander stems. So we have coriander stems in here. I threw in about 5 shishito peppers. And then we also have some other items we're going to be adding in right now. So next up is that we have some shallot. This is half a shallot. Shallots form the base of a lot of French cooking. And being, you know, France and Thailand have a long history together, you see a lot of ingredients in there. So I'm going to go ahead, I'm going to put the shallot in there, you know, really watching to, you know, proper technique. 5 cloves of garlic. We're going to chop those up. And we're giving everything a rough chop because we're going to be going right into the barbacoa. This can be done with a mortar and pestle, but seems like a lot of work. We're going to put some ginger in there. It originally called for galanga, which is not the same as ginger, and there was absolutely no galangal in the store, so I found some galangal powder, and I'm going to be adding in some ginger. Next up is we have a Kefir lime. These Kefir limes, very different than normal limes. They're really meant for juicing, but their skin has a ton of flavor. You can use Kefir lime leaves if you can't find the actual Kefir lime itself. So we have some Kefir lime, about 2/3 of a Kefir lime. We shaved off the outside. That's going to go into our mixture. And then last but not least, we have some lemongrass. Love the lemongrass. Very floral, a little lemony, a little citrusy, but it's really going to give a nice flavor. You really want a proper technique when you're cutting, right? You want to make sure that you're using the front of your hand as a guide hand. And then we go over knife technique in school, and always making sure that knife is in your hand, right? Our fingers not staying long or on top. You have a nice strong grip. I call this speaking Italian, and then the knife is against your hand. As long as the fingers are on the tips and your fingers aren't sticking out, likelihood of getting hurt get very low. Okay? So we'll go ahead and we're going to put those in there. So we have all of our ingredients mixed in here, from our galangal powder to our ginger, our Thai chilies, our Kefir lime leaves, cumin, coriander, salt, white pepper, a little bit of black pepper, and last but not least, I was waiting for you to add the shrimp paste. It calls for about half a teaspoon of shrimp paste. I like shrimp paste a lot. So I'm going to go a little heavier on that, and maybe a tablespoon. Okay, and just the aromas getting off that shrimp paste is just amazing. We don't go paper towels in this house. We've been going for side towels, and that's our new use. We've given up completely all paper towels in the house, and we don't buy them. It's been working out pretty great. All right, I'm going to step around for you right now, and we're going to make this curry paste. Hopefully my machine doesn't go on the blimps. Sometimes it likes to be bad. So we're going to go ahead and gently get all of our ingredients in. Okay, like I said, traditionally mortar and pestle is being used, but being we have the Roman food right here, figuring what the heck. All right, so we're going to put that on. Closed up, and we're going to grind this into a paste. Stop about halfway through. I'm going to work my mixture down. I could end up adding a little bit of water to this, so I'm going to really try not to. Water might help it along just a little bit. And keep those vegetables down. Okay? So you're seeing a really nice paste starting to form. Should be a little bit chunky, but we want to break up any of the cellulose that's in there. So I'm going to give it an opportunity to really mix together. And just kind of let it go, let it do its thing. I said if I add any water to this now, I may make too much of a puree and not a paste. And we're really not looking for a puree. We're not looking to turn our solids into a liquid. And that's really important. So we're going to continue to stop. We're going to scrape down the sides of our bowl, and we're going to try and create a paste and not create a puree. We're also creating a little friction in here right now, so it's going to be heating this up. And just kind of letting it do its thing. The aromas that are coming off here are just amazing. You can really smell the shrimp paste and the Serrano Chiles. Really getting the garlic and the lemongrass. It is really just amazing. So again, take your time. There's no rush. I see a really nice paste forming down bottom, and I want to make sure that we're really going to get down there. So every single time, I'm going to push this down and make sure. All right. And we're just about ready. I'm going to get a bowl for my curry paste. Have a little cereal bowl we're going to be using. Let's see how this is looking. Wow. Absolutely amazing. Really, really great. Very strong flavors coming off of this. I'm going to give it one more spin. All of our product to the bottom, it's really kind of smearing in and creating that paste that we're looking for. And what's really important is that we have salt in here. Salt can be, very abrasive. Let's see, a little taste. Oh my God. Oh man. The flavors are just amazing. Really, really strong. Really great flavors. I'm going to push this down a little bit more. Do it one more time. Give it a little shake. Shake it, don't break it. I think that's about all that we're going to get out of it. All right, so I'm going to clean off our knife. Put that into our sink. Get rid of that right away. I'm going to go ahead and take a look at our green curry mixture. Looks great. I put a little extra shrimp paste in there, so I like mine. And we're gonna get that paste out. Really strong in flavor. We're gonna be very careful. We don't make our green curry too hot today. All right, I'm getting off camera. All right, so we have all of our ingredients together now. We have our green curry paste. And I really want you to take a look at this because it is just amazing. Right, we have a nice puree. not puree, paste rather, sorry. All our ingredients are fully incorporated and looking really amazing. All right, so we have our green curry paste ready. Now we are ready to make our green curry. I have all the ingredients set up and ready to go. I have lots of vegetables cut in here. I have cauliflower, I have red peppers, and I have tomatoes. You could use Chinese long beans or string beans in here really well. We didn't have any in our refrigerator, so I'm just gonna go with the cauliflower, tomatoes, and the red peppers. Okay, we'll talk a little bit about our curry paste first and how we're gonna assemble our green curry. I have some olive oil in the pan, about maybe about a quarter cup, and we're gonna get that olive oil on. We're gonna add the green curry paste, and we're gonna cook the green curry paste in the oil. Once we start to smell the perfume, be careful not to burn it. We're gonna be adding about 3/4 a cup of coconut milk. We're gonna cook that coconut milk in with the green curry paste until the coconut milk evaporates. And what's gonna happen is the oil is gonna come out of the coconut milk and the spices are gonna fry in the coconut oil. After about a minute or two of frying in the coconut oil, we're gonna add in the chicken and coat that really well, get that mixed in really well, and then add the rest of the coconut milk. We'll let that simmer for about 5 or 10 minutes, and then we're gonna finish by adding in our vegetables. We are not serving this with jasmine rice. We are going to our old trusty basmati. We have lots of basmati in the house, so I wasn't gonna go out and buy something that was gonna be different. I wanna try and give you a really good view today. So we're gonna bring you over to the stove. How about that? We get to come over to the stove with Johnyshwa, right? And I really want you to see what's going on today because Thai green curries are one of my favorites. And the cooking techniques that we use for this are really great. So I'm gonna go ahead and get my rice on. I have a 2-to-1 ratio on the rice. As we all well know, rice is a 2-to-1 ratio. And a couple of things that we did beforehand, we washed our rice, we have it in water, and we want to bring that to a boil. As soon as that comes to a boil, we're going to turn that down to a simmer, let it go for about 17 or 18 minutes, and they'll be set and ready to go. All right, so here we go with the green curry. I have my oil on, and I want to let's let that heat briefly. I do have some chicken thighs. I bought those from Naughty Mart, and they are boneless chicken thighs. You can use regular chicken thighs at home. Just take the bone out, and then you get to save the bone and make some chicken stock. You could freeze it, put it in your refrigerator. You could put it in old school ice cube trays. Pull one out and throw it into your food as you need it. It can be a lot of fun. Okay, so I have my curry paste. I want to go ahead and taste this because I really got to see what we're doing. We don't want to blow away the family tonight. Oh my God! Wow! Wow! The flavors, very spicy by the way, but the flavors are just amazing. So I think we're going to go with that's about 2 tablespoons. I'm going to add 1 more tablespoon. I'm not going to go too crazy. Again, I don't want to make this too hot for everybody that they're not going to be able to eat. We're going to save this green curry. I'm going to bring this to school, and we're going to have this a great. So we have our cooking, right? We want to turn on our flame, right? And as you can see, we have our green curry in with our oil. We'll let that come to a boil. Okay. Let that stir, really getting some really great aromas coming off of there. You can smell the spices starting to really cook. We just did Indian cooking in the high school, and this technique is called bhuna, and it's putting spices in the pan to get them nice and toasted, right? So now that we see that we have our green curry has been cooking pretty well, like I said, we're going to go in and add in approximately, make sure our coconut milk is mixed, about 3/4 of a cup. That's about it right there. It's around 3/4 of a cup. We're going to let this come to a boil. We're going to mix this in, and again, we want to reduce this down to try and separate the coconut milk. As I learn more and more about curries, I'm finding out so many great techniques. Not only to make curry
Thai curries, right? Which, when I say the word curry, I'm really talking about the word gravy. There is no real word for curry in this region. Even in India, there is no word for curry. They use words like masala and korma, and those are the gravies that we're used to seeing going into Indian restaurants. Working with Indonesia and Thailand, they take, using the coconut step one step further, they make something called a brown curry, and that would be taking coconut milk and reducing it by half. Once it starts to get really brown, maybe even down to a third, once it starts to get really brown, you add more coconut milk to it and bring it back to a boil, and now you have a brown curry. We could cook some beef in coconut milk and cook it until all the coconut milk is gone. And that style is called rendang. Maybe you've been out to a Malaysian restaurant and you may have had beef rendang. And that's basically a curry that's been cooked in coconut milk. And it's been cooked so long that the oils have separated from the actual coconut milk. The water's evaporated, and then all of the spices are actually sticking to the meat. So it's an incredible technique. If you get a chance and you go to a Malaysian restaurant, really make sure you're ordering the rendang. It's not something that you really see in too many other places, and it's something really special on the menu that you do want to give attention to. All right, so we have our coconut milk cooking. We're having a great color, as you can see. We see that nice green color, right? We're making a green curry. And I was worried because I added a little bit too much shrimp paste, and was that shrimp paste going to stain it, and it was going to come out a little bit more red. But it looks phenomenal. We're going to reduce that coconut milk as we have that in there. Okay, give that a little stir. Using a wok, you have to really be careful because it's thinner on the sides. So it's going to start to cook a little faster in those areas. We want to make sure that it's not burning. So we're going to give that coconut milk a really good stir. And again, we're going to be able to cook all those things down. We're going to talk about a couple of ingredients that we're going to be using today. The next ingredient, well not next, but next ingredient we're going to talk about is the Thai basil. Thai basil is just incredible, almost black licorice in odor. I like to use in whole pieces, large leaves, so you can just pull it back out. You can slice it and chop this up, but this is very different. This is not the same as using Italian basil. You can, making pestos and things out of this, not really seen. So using the whole leaves, again, Thai basil, just an incredible flavor. And if you really want those flavors of Thailand, you're going to make sure that you're using proper ingredients. Using things like galangal, which is a form of ginger, but I tell you right now, very, very different. Very different than using ginger. We couldn't find it, so I used the galangal powder, and I used some ginger. So this is starting to really cook down. It's starting to get nice and thick. Right, this is looking really good. And again, I want to cook this until it's almost all gone. We want to cook it until the oil is separating from the coconut milk. Right, and that's really our goal here. And then we're going to be adding our chicken. Again, I have chicken thighs. They're diced about a medium dice, and then we want to keep an eye. I have my rice on back here, and waiting for that to come to a boil. I usually go pretty plain on my rice. This is not a rice peel-off where we're sauteing onions and garlic and adding all kinds of salt and pepper. It's a plain white rice. Very classic. It's meant to kind of help balance out your curry. Could be a little spicy. Okay. And as you can see, my coconut milk is really getting thick now. Right, really starting to get thicker around the edges, and I really want to watch it. I want to make sure that the edges are not getting too brown. I want to make sure that my coconut milk is reducing, okay, and I can even just kind of adjust my flame. Even though I do want it to reduce, I don't want it to burn. Okay, so we're going to keep a close eye on this right now, and we're really going to break it down. What's funny is as that coconut milk is up on the edges, I can already see the oil coming out of the coconut milk. And again, learning about curries, learning how to make these techniques are just incredible. All right, we'll go ahead and taste a little bit. Make sure I'm not double dipping over here. Oh my God, You would think I died and gone to Thailand, boy. Oh my God. I didn't realize the flavors. You know, a lot of times it's just easier to buy curry paste and not really make it. But if, you know, having control over your own curry paste, how spicy you want it, how much coriander you want in it, is really just an amazing thing. When I was in the store, I was actually talking to a couple different people that were also making some curry paste. They were looking for the same ingredients. They were looking for lemongrass, and they were looking for chilies and things, and we got to talking. All right, so my curry is getting really thick now, okay? Really thick, bubbling on the bottom. You'll see it's floppy kind of consistency, and we really want to keep an eye on this. Well, I'm already starting to see the oils. Can you see if you look on the edge? If you look on the edge, you can already see those oils starting to separate from the coconut milk. I had a little bit of olive oil in here to get started, but not very much. Okay, maybe 2 tablespoons just to kind of get that buna going, and that's really being absorbed into the spices. So, with my curry just about there, right? I want to start getting my chicken thighs ready, and we're going to be adding those in. Okay, so we're seeing the curry start to separate. It's starting to get really thick. It's really back to a thick paste again. And I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to add in my chicken thighs. Okay, those are pre-cut. I did on a separate cutting board, plastic cutting board. Make sure you're not using wood. Avoid cross-contamination, salmonella. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and we're going to just mix these spices in. I'm going to go back on a high flame, and I'm going to fold my diced chicken thighs into my spices. Okay, and we really want to let this cook just for a little bit. You know, this is going to be a simmer using the kind of wet cooking technique, right? We don't need to braise our chicken thighs. Chicken thighs are kind of soft enough, but when you let them simmer in the coconut milk, the flavors are just amazing. So the whole time I'm still watching my rice come to a boil, and I'm just seeing it starting to come up right now. So at this point, I'm going to turn my rice down to low. Alexa, set a timer for 18 minutes. All right, so Alexa's on my side. She has 18 minutes, right? I know I'll forget, but watching it, I should be okay. All right, so we have our chicken going really well here, okay? And we want to let those toast into the pan. And I'm going to go ahead and move those around, right? I'm going to grab my bowl back, and I'm going to use this for my contaminated, right, salmonella, my contaminated spoon, so I'm not going to, you know, really contaminate my area. And be really careful not to do that. You don't want to hurt anybody. You don't want to kill anybody, okay? And we don't need to spread around salmonella. So I'm starting to listening for this. You know, one of the things I always talk to my kids about at school is hearing, seeing, smelling, tasting. You know, when you're cooking, you're using all of your senses. So I'm going to move around my chicken thighs. I can hear them starting to sizzle in the coconut milk, right? A little bit of olive oil in the green curry spices, right? And give that a nice stir around. Okay. We're not looking for this to fully cook. We're not looking for this to brown. We're just looking to really adhere that curry onto the chicken and really impart its flavor. You know, it's like kind of like almost like a quick marinating, and we're allowing the flavors to seep into the chicken before we go ahead and dilute that with the coconut milk and let that simmer. Okay. So we're going to go ahead and fold this in. I'm so excited for dinner tonight. Boy, I have not tasted a green curry like this in a long time. Nice homemade green curry going in, and this really looks amazing. All right, so my chicken's not fully cooked. It's not turning white yet, right? It's cooked into the curry paste, and we have that going. We have our flame on high, and we're going to go ahead and add the rest of our coconut milk. And will we add it all? I don't know. Maybe we'll leave a little bit out. We're going to be adding a lot of vegetables in here, and the vegetables really give off a lot of water. And I want to make sure that my end product is not too soupy. I know these curries can be a little thicker or a little thinner than normal, but we really don't want to make this too thin. Okay, so we're going to stir our chicken into this area, and we're going to let this simmer for about 10 or 15 minutes. After about 10 or 15 minutes, we're going to be adding our vegetables in. And again, we have some cauliflower, we have tomatoes, and we have some bell peppers. After about 10 minutes, I could cover this, I could leave it uncovered. You know, if you're leaving it uncovered like I probably will, you may have to add a little bit extra water back in. You don't want to add more coconut milk, you could, okay? But if you're cooking this and you're using evaporation, well then what are you losing? You're losing water, okay? So there's no problem by adding that water back in. You're not watering down your food, you're just kind of replacing what had already been there, okay? So you could add some water, you could put a lid on this, you'll get a little bit less evaporation. You can cover this maybe 15 minutes, maybe 20 minutes, and then you're gonna add your vegetables. Once you add your vegetables, you know, this is not a long cook curry, and we want our vegetables to stay somewhat fresh. You know, if you eat Thai food, like I do, as you can tell, you know, everything is not cooked down forever. It retains its freshness. The peppers are still, maybe they're not crunchy, but they're still firm. The cauliflower, you could be using the snake bean, right, or the Chinese long bean at this call. You cut those up, and you know, we want our vegetables to keep their integrity. And secondly, when vegetables are cooked too long, they're losing a lot of their flavor, losing a lot of their nutrients, and they become very drowned out. Okay, so as we can see, our curry is starting to come to a boil, and I want to give this a nice stir. I could add some more curry paste later on if I feel it might need it. I don't think I will. Again, I don't want to blow everybody away, and I can't taste this right now. Okay, so we want to be careful. You know, we don't want to ruin everybody's dinner and make it too hot for them if they're not used to eating this style of food. So I'm going to turn this down. Okay, now this has come to a good boil. We're going to turn this down, and we're going to go ahead and let this simmer for about 10 minutes or so. Wow, that's another show. I can't believe it. You know, and I know you're saying, well, come on, you know, keep us going, add the vegetables, we want to see the end product. You know, get out there and do it on your own. Take our recipes, take our techniques, watch YouTube, and, you know, learn how to cook. You know, again, letting this simmer for 10 minutes or so, and again, I'm going to go a little bit lower, adding my vegetables to this and stirring it around, and then I'm going to cover it, let them steam together, and that's going to take another 10-15 minutes. So we're talking about another half hour for the show, which is just, you know, really unnecessary. So again, letting our coconut curry come to a boil, green curry. You see this nice, beautiful color that we have. We have our basmati rice. You could be using jasmine rice in the back. And then again, finishing this with our vegetables into the green curry, covering it, let it simmer for about 10 minutes, and then you're gonna have one incredible dish. Now, one item that I'm gonna wait to add in also is the Thai basil. I'm gonna take 2 pieces right now and just add those in. Towards the end of the cooking process, I'm going to go ahead and add a little bit more in. Okay. Some other ingredients I'm going to be adding in at this point. 2 very important ingredients. One is fish sauce, and the other one is sugar. We have about, I'll say about 2 tablespoons of sugar. We're going to be adding, and we're going to be adding about 2 or 3 tablespoons of fish sauce. Those ingredients are intricate in a curry. Having those classic ingredients, having our fish sauce, right, otherwise known as nuoc mam, right, in Vietnamese, fish sauce, and this is made from fermented anchovies. I know my friend Katie loves fish sauce so much. Here, Katie, fish sauce, and it is really strong. It's made again from fermented anchovies, but it's got such an umami burst, intricate part of this dish. And then adding in the sugar also helps to bring out balance. You know, and looking in Thai cuisine, they really focused on, you know, so many flavors, you know, sweet flavors and sour flavors and spicy flavors and bitter flavors, you know, and really trying to create a balance, a harmony between all of them. You know, looking at certain soups like Tom Yum is a great example. You know, if you really want to taste what Thai food can really be all about, have a Tom Yum soup. It's spicy, it's sour, it's savory. It can be a little sweet at times. It can be made with coconut milk or just broths. And they're just really incredible. Also, on the bottom of here, we also have some straw mushrooms, as I forgot to mention. Okay, so this is coming to a boil. My rice is looking really great. This is smelling I mean, super, super authentic, and I couldn't be happier with this and our success in making our curry paste and letting this go. So, to recap our lesson today, we made a Thai green curry, Serrano chilies and jalapenos and shallots and garlic. We had some coriander stems in there. We had some of the cumin seeds, and we had some fresh coriander seeds that were in there, salt, white pepper, black pepper, and also we used a little bit of cardamom seeds. Remember, we're cooking our spices in our buna, in our oil, to kind of toast those spices, and then we added that coconut milk. We reduced that down to extract the coconut oil out and cook in with the curry paste, adding in our chicken legs, right? Reconstituting our boneless chicken thighs, adding in the coconut milk and bring it to a boil, and then seasonings, right? A little bit of fish sauce, 2 tablespoons of sugar, and we can check levels later if we need a little bit of salt. We're just gonna allow this to cook right now. Again, this has been going for maybe 5 minutes. I've been talking now. So I'll probably let it go another 10, add my vegetables and give it a cover. And then, we'll finish it with a little bit of the Thai basil, which I'll probably put into the curry around the time that we have the vegetables in. So this is recipe 1 for Thailand. This is the Johnyshwa green curry, sour Johnyshwa. Some important news coming up about that. We can talk about that later. And we have our Thai green curry. Everyone, thank you so much for spending another evening. I hope your dinner will go as well as ours. And thank you for allowing me to share my family's dinner with you. God bless. Have a great day. Have a great night, everybody. Take care.